players with the best and worst matchups in week 10. Let's get it started. A little switch up from my normal routine. Normally I do love and hate, which is kind of like this in general. I look for players with good matchups and then I tell you about it. But y'all seem to really like this whole matchup thing, so I figured I'd just skip to the chase. Who has the best and worst matchups of the week by position? Oh, Jeffrey, where you at?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's more like it. Say what's up to the people, Jeffrey.
Good afternoon, Bay Nation.
Excellent. Time is of the essence. Let's get it started. Quarterbacks with the best matchup in week 10, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy goes up against the Buccaneers, who have allowed the most points against the quarterback position the last 3 weeks and the last 5 weeks. Second most points allowed on the year. Brock Purdy's been okay since he's lost his receivers, but looks like Deebo Samuel is questionable but could play. Juwan Jennings is questionable but could play, but he's still got George Kittle, and CMC is back, so that offense is going to be moving a lot better. Love to see it. Quarterback number 2, Sam Darnold, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have allowed the second most points to the quarterback position the last 5 weeks, most points on the year when you adjust for schedule. And Trevor Lawrence may not play. It might be Mac Jones. Ooh, yeah. The only worry in this game is that the Vikings get up too fast and they score all the stuff on the ground with Aaron Jones. But we'll get to him later. Daniel Jones has a fantastic matchup against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have allowed the second most points the last 3 weeks, the fourth most points the last 5 weeks, and they're pretty bad on the year in general. Daniel Jones coming off of a good game last week. You like to see it. I actually think he's going to be a good sleeper. Jalen Hurts has a good matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. I do think this one gets more interesting if Micah Parsons plays, but regardless, they're 7.5-point favorites for a reason. They should be able to do work against the Cowboys in this game, and I expect Jalen Hurts to get it done. I'm curious who he's going to have. A.J. Brown's banged up. Devonta Smith came up with an injury as well. But regardless, Jalen Hurts should be fine. Quarterbacks with the worst matchups in week 10. C.J. Stroud going up against the Lions. The Lions in the last 5 weeks have allowed the fourth fewest points against the quarterback position. If he gets Nico Collins back, I think he should be solid. But without Nico Collins, I'm just concerned. Other quarterbacks with bad matchups this week. Drake May versus the Chicago Bears are the second best. Russell Wilson versus the Commanders are the third best in the last 5 weeks. And Bo Nix versus the Chiefs, you're really hoping for rushing upside here. Wide receivers with the best matchups in week 10. Deebo Samuel, assuming Deebo plays, he should be able to light up the Bucs. The Bucs are allowing the second most points against the wide receiver position in the last 5 weeks when you adjust for schedule. This also means, assuming Juwan Jennings plays, I think that he should be a good play as well. He should be filling in for that Brandon Ayuk role, and clearly Brock Purdy really likes him because he dominated for a few weeks stretch before he got banged up. So assuming he plays, I think he should be solid. The Falcons also have a great matchup as well going up against the New Orleans Saints. Marshawn Lattimore won't be there. Now, Drake London is a bit banged up, so you got to watch his status. But if he plays, he should do work against the Saints, the seventh easiest matchup in the last 5 weeks versus the wide receiver. Plus, they just lost their best cornerback. This also means I like Darnell Mooney as well. I think both of them should eat. And if Drake London does end up sitting, Darnell Mooney is basically a must start because he is, do y'all know how good he's been? Over the last 5 weeks, he's the 6th best wide receiver. On the year, he's the 12th best wide receiver. Darnell Mooney apparently has been on fire. Wide receivers with the worst matchup in week 10, CeeDee Lamb. Going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Eagles have allowed the fewest points to the wide receiver position in the last 5 weeks. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have Dak, and he has Cooper Rush, plus he's dealing with an AC joint issue. I still think you obviously play CeeDee Lamb. I just wouldn't expect as much upside considering the injury as well as the matchup. But this is basically a moot point. If CD plays, you play him. Duh. Another player I still think you can play even with the bad matchup is George Pickens going up against the Commanders. The Commanders have allowed the 4th fewest points in the last 5 weeks. But George Pickens is kind of just that dude. And he's very talented. So I think that he can still get it done, but he does not have a good matchup. So I would limit your expectations in regards to upside. And for those of you out there relying on Courtland Sutton, just a heads up, this is a bad matchup. Going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are fantastic against the wide receiver position. Courtland Sutton should be getting the clamps put on him. He's a big boy, but I think he's going to have some big problems in this one. Courtland Sutton's been great so far this year. Top 20 on the year, top 12 in the last 3 weeks. I just don't think that he's going to be able to get it done against these Kansas City Chiefs. And lastly, Marvin Harrison Jr. going up against the New York Jets. The Jets have allowed the 6th fewest points to the wide receiver position in the last 5 weeks. Marvin Harrison hasn't been overly impressive in general. Wide receiver 49 in the last 5 weeks. Ugh. And now he gets the Sauce Gardner treatment? Nah. You might have a better option than Marvin Harrison Jr. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. It's still early in his career, so I'm not making any proclamations on whether or not he's going to be a good receiver. But for fantasy this year, he has not been what you expected. Running backs with the best matchups in Week 10. Bijan Robinson going up against the Saints. The Saints have allowed the 2nd most points against the running back position in the last 5 weeks. Divisional matchup. And the Falcons should be able to run all over this team. Everybody's already starting Bijan, but just a heads up, amazing matchups. Moving on. DeAndre Swift has the 3rd easiest matchup against the Patriots. Whoever's starting at running back for Washington has a good matchup. The Steelers allow the 4th most points to the running back position in the last 5 weeks. Aaron Jones is going to pop off against the Jaguars.
Christian McCaffrey.
Please back. If he's on your roster and you still have him, you should play him. I'm playing him. I traded for him before the season started in a Dynasty League, and you can pretty much guarantee he will be in my roster. CMC, don't sit when he plays for me. And with Chris Olave out, Alvin Kamara is going to go nuclear. This dude might get like 7 targets this week. He's the best thing they have by like a large margin. Obviously, you're starting him, but this matchup, it's all right. Allowing the 10th most points the last 3 weeks. Early in the season, they were a little stiffer, but recently they've allowed running backs to do work. And honestly, you're going to get a lot of the work for Kamara in the air anyways. And Tyrone Tracy has the easiest matchup in Week 10. You should fire him up. He should pop off. The Panthers, not good at football. Tyrone Tracy, good at football. I mean, literally, on the year, last 5 weeks, the Panthers allow the most points to the running back position. Fire him up. Running backs with the worst matchups in Week 10, Tony Pollard. The Chargers allow the 2nd fewest points against the running back position. Tajay Spears should be coming back from injury as well, so the work should be more split. I expect his upside to be pretty limited. Javonte Williams has the worst matchup against the Chiefs. Rico Dowdle has the 4th hardest matchup against the Eagles. And I'm very concerned about Travis Etienne Jr. Looks like Matt Jones is going to play. They go up against the Vikings, who on the year is the 3rd hardest matchup against the running back position, and he already isn't playing well. Yeah, I'm not trying to fit him in my lineup until I see him play better, because it's been bad. Tight ends with the best matchup in Week 10. George Kittle has the 2nd easiest matchup. We're not going to linger here long. Everyone's playing George Kittle, keeping it moving. TJ Hawkinson gets a great matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who allow the 5th most points to the tight end position in the last 5 weeks. This one, I don't think a lot of people were starting, but I think you can. And for people that are really desperate for a tight end, the Carolina Panthers allow the most points against the tight end position on the year in the last 5 weeks and the 2nd most in the last 3 weeks. What that tells me is the Panthers suck against the tight end position, and Theo Johnson had 6 targets last week and a touchdown. He should be all right. So those are players that have great matchups and terrible matchups in Week 10. I'm curious what you think about this format versus me telling you who I love and hate. I have a feeling that you're going to love and hate more because it's more polarizing. Also, there's less obvious players in love and hate. But some people just want to know who has a good matchup, who has a bad matchup. Because some people ask me whether or not they should start really good players against other really good players. And this could tip the balance. I'm really just curious about what y'all want at this point. But yeah, let me know. Right now, I'm just testing out this matchup situation. I see a bigger value in giving up long-term, strength of schedule matchups versus weekly matchups. But I'll totally see when y'all react to it. So that's it for the fantasy. I did want to talk to y'all for a little bit. So Bay Nation, I've had a crazy couple weeks. Work has been nuts. And sorry for the delay on this video. I've been working from 9 a.m. to midnight, 1 o'clock at my day job for the last 3-4 days. So I've been pretty swamped. My family's been having health issues. My fiance's family's been having health issues. We've had family living in the house for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if you could tell, but my face looks different because my eyes all puffy. I've been having health issues. And it just reminded me, what would Kobe do if he was having eye issues? He would play through the eye issues. So you see me here, I'm recording for you, the people. I'm about to work on the Pick'em video right now. So that should be out shortly after this one. people seem to actually really be liking that, which is super cool. I didn't know that people were watching the pick'em video like that. That's awesome. I've been doing pick'em for like 5 years now, but it seems like people are tailing me, which is super cool. I do want to start doing it earlier in the week, but like I said earlier, this week's been crazy. Also, the later you do it, the more information you have, which allows you to make better picks most of the time. But I could totally make the videos earlier. Let me know if you need them earlier than what I'm providing. So yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up. Don't forget, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below. It really helps with the engagement and the likes. Send the video out to more people, which is super cool. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, Bay Nation. Peace.